Honesty is seen as repulsive. Hard work is not rewarded. And lies are regarded as normalcy. Every job I've ever worked, hard work was not even rewarded more than the guys who would simply be like the boss and be likable to them. It really is the story David Goggins describes when he's in the SEALs and he's the hardest worker in there. And instead of rewarding him and seeing him as the leader he is, they cast him out because he's not trying to be a part of their group. He's not trying to be friends. He's just being himself and standing apart, because he does stand apart, because he works harder than the rest, because he's putting his energy into himself, improving himself, instead of putting energy towards being likable, being part of the group. It's just bizarre to me that people would rather have people around them to confirm their own biases instead of have people around that challenge them, challenge their biases, challenges their beliefs and their thoughts, their work ethic. People don't actually want those people around in this society, in America. This whole idea of work hard and make money, all bullshit. It really is just friends helping other friends. They would rather have people around that are like them, like a good old boy system that David describes in the military. That's everywhere in our society. That's everywhere I've ever worked. Every group of people I've come in contact with, none of them have actually appreciated hard work, discipline, what you would actually think other men would appreciate in other men. It's not that. Which makes sense when you look at how our society's structured. When you look at how politics is fake, it's not actually men of character. When you look at the justice system, it's fake. It's not actually people of character upholding a legitimate law. It's just a rich class protecting itself. It's not actually equal rights for all. No, I've never seen one rich person in court. Have you? Not one. It's funny how no rich people get pulled over for speeding tickets or whatever. You know, it's funny how that works, though. It's funny how only the poor among us are criminalized, while the worst among us in the positions of power, politics, the justice system, the healthcare system, literally committing crimes against all of humanity. Not going to jail, not dying in prison. What more proof do you need that these systems are completely corrupt? I mean, how many more files need to be released? How are people not in jail? How are people not being, strung up and have all their, resources taken and their lives destroyed because they're friends with the people that enforce the law, that create the laws? They're buddies. Can you imagine? This is how it actually works. It doesn't actually work on character, morality. So it makes sense they took, God out of schools, no more pledging to God, because this society doesn't operate on the idea of God. Belief or not, just knowing that there is some other higher powers at play here, Seems obvious if you just observe the sun or the moon or anything that's greater than us. It's bizarre. Like, people live as though you don't need the sun, you don't need the stars, you don't need grass, you don't need animals, you don't need trees, you don't need actual food. It's also bizarre. Like, we're so far removed from real life at this point. And Terence McKenna predicted this. I always say this. He talked about how life is going to get so fucking weird. The only thing left to do is talk about how weird it is. And that's where we're at. There's really not much to do left other than talk about how fucked everything is. There's no fixing anything. There's no making it great again. Let's make America great again. I don't know if it was ever great to begin with, because this ethic is what it's always been. It was never different. If anything, it was just disguised better because we had less information, less access to understanding what's going on. Now it's just more obvious than ever. It's just, it's just not able to be hidden anymore. Except to the people that aren't even looking. My parents' generation, the boomers, who accepted the lies and lived by the lies. To them, to those people, life is completely normal. It's very much like the Matrix. They describe it perfectly, how the people that rely on the Matrix will fight for it, right? Because that's what it is. It's our society is all about teaching people to have no ability to live a real life. That's what school's all about. School forces children to memorize endless, useless information, which is a waste of any of your life. To learn anything that you won't need in your life makes no sense. Why would you spend any memory, any resources, any energy, any time learning things that you don't absolutely need? It just it proves how corrupt it all is. Just the sheer education system is not education. It's indoctrination into not thinking. Don't think. Just memorize this information and regurgitate it back to me. School was never about learning, because learning isn't memorization of random facts. That's never been what learning is. Learning is not memorization, and that's all school is when you think about it. School is turning children into calculators, into robots, literally. Because that's what a robot is. That's what a calculator is. Input data, output data. Input the formula, output the answer. And that's all school is. I'll give you this stuff to memorize, input the data, and then output it back to me later. Show me that you can remember it, and I'll say you're smart. That's ridiculous. Beyond that, grades are ridiculous. Life works on a pass-fail basis. Can you start a fire or not? There's no grading for a fire. Either it's lit or it is not. Do you have heat or do you not? Pass-fail. Can you hunt or not? Pass-fail. There's no grades. Can you grow food or not? Pass-fail. No grades. There's no grading in nature. It's pass-fail. Did you catch the meal or did it escape? Pass-fail. Did you build the house or did you not? Are you getting rained on or are you dry? Pass-fail. Everything in life is pass-fail. Did you get the date or did you not? Pass-fail. She's not grading you. You either get the number or you do not. Pass-fail. Do you go on a date or do you not? Pass-fail. Did you win the race Did you lose the race? There's no grading in a race. You win, you lose. Pass, fail. Everything in life is pass, fail. There is no grading. So the grading in school is just one more way to dumb people down. Oh, you got a B. You did pretty good. That's pretty good. Who gives, what does that even mean? It doesn't mean anything. That's the problem. Either you passed or you failed. This is how, this is the mind fuck when you get older. Realize, and of course I realized it when I was still in school. I'm just talking about it now. That's what's so crazy, is realizing it when you're in there and having nothing to do though. There's no recourse. Your parents are completely indoctrinated. They're like, we just gotta make sure you do better in school. If I just make sure you do better in school, you know. At no point do they even figure out it's not school. They don't even figure out they're taking their kids to the enemy, to then be brainwashed to work for the enemy. They don't even realize there's an enemy. They watch all these shows and movies explaining how there's an enemy and how there's a war going on, but it's like they're so numb to it from just not participating in life that they don't understand. Like they think life is just something to kind of watch, like TV. And I think that's what TV trains people to do, is watch life happen to them instead of participate and be the steward of your life. So many people were just made to be observers of life and react to life instead of create your life, design your life how you would like it to be. That whole generation of boomers thinks as though life is something that you just kind of interact with and it's just happening to you. You don't really have any control over it. It's doing its own thing and you're just this little thing. Rest, you can't affect much. This is what they're teaching kids. And so it's no surprise kids come into the world and get older and then have no effectiveness in the world. And then women say, well, where are the real men? Why are men so feminine? Because they're raised by women. When women don't have the ability to raise children beyond puberty. This is a whole nother video. Need to cut it here and then do from here on of the reason, kids are fucked, because women are, not mothers anymore, not wives anymore, just hoes having kids and then thinking they can raise those kids. Amazing. It's bizarre. The reality is a woman can only raise children to puberty. A woman can do that. Hoes can't do even that. Hoes can't even raise children to puberty. They can't raise children at all because they're hoes. For the longest time, our society knew that. That's why hoes were cast out of society and made to stay in their parts of the world with each other. That's what brothels were always about. They're contained in this place, they're all together, we know where they are, there they are. Because for the longest time our society understood whores are not to be trusted. They're not of moral character, they're gonna lie to you, they're gonna steal from you, they're gonna betray you, they'll tell your secrets. They have no honor there's no reason for them to have honor. Why would they? It makes sense. The life they live requires no honor, no character, no morality. In fact, it kind of requires them to get rid of that. So, for the longest time, our society understood this, that character is not, it's more valuable than the way you look. But now, it's seen as though the way you look is the only thing that matters. But that can't be all that matters, because that's not all that matters to you at the end of the day, right? Women don't just care about how a man looks, they care about a lot of other things. So it's bizarre to me that women think that men only care about how a woman looks. But that's how women think now. Only their looks matters. They only looks max. That's it. Women will have all the hair, all the nails, all the makeup, all the clothes, looking like the best hoe they possibly can, with no character, no morality, no ethics. And they don't realize that it doesn't matter how much you dress. You are disgusting because your character is disgusting. You can dress your character up all you want. That's like trying to, paint shit. Like, okay, you painted it, it's very colorful, but it's still shit. This is what people don't realize, men and women. I mean, it's women, and then those women make the men like that. That's what women can't understand. Women wonder, where are all the men at? Where's all the real men? Well, you're the one birthing them, though, so it's on you if the world has real men or not. It's on you if those males have fathers to raise them with a male role model. Without a model, kids are lamb to the slaughter. Without a male role model, boys and girls are just lambs to the slaughter. Because guess what? You're not going to be able to provide that. For whatever reason, women think they can provide that, and they cannot. So kids grow up basically without the sun. It'd be like growing a plant and never giving it sunlight. That's what it is for a kid to grow up without a father. It's not going to work. That kid is not going to be strong. He's not going to be confident. He's not going to be able to stand up to the pressure of life, just like a woman. Women don't stand up to the pressures of life. You don't. You're cowards. That's why you lie, and your whole strategy is manipulation. It's understandable you're the weaker sex, so your strategy is subversion, manipulation, not direct confrontation like a man. But you don't realize that that's what you're teaching your kids. You teach your kids to be liars. You teach your kids to be manipulators. You teach your kids to be these awful people, and then wonder why the world is like it is. It's so obvious to anyone who's paying attention, but it seems that though the whole accountability thing holds true, because that's all it would take from women is to simply self-reflect on your actions, and it would be a very easy understanding. It would not take long for women to come to the realization of what they're doing, but this is how little women self-reflect on their actions. They just simply never even consider what they're doing, how they're doing, if it's right, if it's wrong, if they should course correct. Because the moment you hit puberty, men are telling you all the things you want to hear to fuck. Because if they tell you the truth, you'll run away. If a man tells you the truth about anything about yourself that you haven't heard yet, that will make you feel like shit, which it should, that feeling of feeling like shit is what it takes to compel you to change your character. That shitty feeling is nature. It's not something to run away from. It's a natural thing to encourage you to improve your character. But women reject this. Women will reject any feelings that feel like shit, and in doing so, reject any ability to grow a character. So we have, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old female children that will die children because they will never address their character. You got 60-year-old women running around with Botox, getting surgery, getting tits and ass implants. Never read the first book on how to raise a child. Never read the first book on how to take care of a man, how to be in a relationship, how to anything. You don't even care enough to look into the shit where it's basic shit for men. Like, I've lost count of how many books I've read now, how many podcasts I've listened to, how many videos I've watched on how to improve my character, how to be a father, how to be a brother, how to be a son, how to be a better human being. Yet, and that's not just women, of course, it's men too, but I've come to the understanding, though, the men that have this problem, they came from these women. It's not like they just spawned into the world and had this problem. It's, you know, it's cause and effect. The men with this problem are coming from the women with this problem. Mostly feminist. It's all feminist, let's be honest. Women want to pretend that feminism is about equal rights. It's not. Never was.